Good evening. It's now 6 p.m. and the April 1st meeting of the Dublin San Ramon Services District Board of Directors is called to order. Please join me in the pledge to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Director Johnson? Here. Director Von Heater-Leopold? Here. Director Govinda Rao?
Here.
Vice President Halkett?
I'm here.
President Goel?
Here. Moving on to item 4, special announcement and activities.
No special announcements this evening.
Thank you. Moving on to item 5, public comment. At this time, those in the audience are encouraged to address the board on any item of interest that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board and not already included on tonight's agenda. Comments should not exceed 5 minutes. Are there any speaker cards from the members of the public? Thank you. Moving on to item 6, agenda management.
No recommended changes.
Thank you. Moving on to item 7, the consent calendar. Matters listed under this item are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless requested by a member of the board or the public prior to the time the board votes on the motion to adopt. Is there a motion to approve the items under the consent calendar? I have a motion by Director Von Heater-Leopold. Do I have a second?
Second.
And I have a second by Director Govinda Rao. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any noes? Any abstention? Motion carries unanimous. Moving on to item 8, board business. Item 8A, receive a presentation and support the proposed DSRSD East Bay Municipal Utility District Recycled Water Authority, DERWA, operations and maintenance budget for the fiscal years 2026 and 2027. Staff.
Dan Gill, Operations Director, will review this item for the board.
Good evening, President Goel, members of the board. I'm Dan Gill, the Operations Director for Dublin San Ramon Services District, and I am here to present on the proposed fiscal year 26, fiscal year 27 DERWA operation and maintenance budget. Okay, so DERWA, of course, as you know, is a JPA formed in 1995 between the Dublin San Ramon Services District and the East Bay Municipal Utility District. DERWA supply sales agreements set terms for implementation of the DERWA program in 2003. Water deliveries began in 2006, and 2014 the city of Pleasanton was added and the system was expanded. Some background on why we're here. Along with the previous timeline, in 2005, the operations agreement was finalized, which made DSRSD responsible for DERWA's operation and maintenance. The agreement also made DSRSD responsible for preparing the operation and maintenance budget. Budget authority ultimately lands on DERWA as they will adopt the budget later on this month on the 28th. But since operation and maintenance is such a large portion, around 75% of DERWA's budget, I want to make sure that everyone here supports this budget before we take it to DERWA's board. Also a reminder that DERWA does their budget on an annual basis. They do it every year, and our budget is done on a 2-year cycle. So we'll bring this budget before the DERWA board later this month, and then this budget will be a line item under our 2-year budget later on in June. So we do a lot. Treatment, transmission, we operate and maintain a 16.2 MGD recycled water treatment plant, as well as we operate and maintain a 16.6 mile transmission main, referred to as the backbone. DERWA also has 2 reservoirs and 3 pump stations that we operate and maintain. Here's our proposed operations and maintenance budget. This table shows the fiscal year 26 and 27 proposed budgets of 6.7 and 6.5 million respectively. It also shows the fiscal year 25 adopted budget of 6.3 million. We're only asking for a 3% annual increase from fiscal year 25 to 26, then to 27. Fiscal year 24 actual expenses are also shown there, around $5.7 million. So the increase is only about $185,000 from fiscal year 25 to 26, and $205,000 for fiscal year 27. This chart illustrates the cost categories as a proportion of the total budget. You can see that the budget is comprised of electricity, filter backwash, treatment costs, and 1/4 of the budget is labor costs. These proportions remain the same through fiscal year 27's budget. So our recommendation next steps are, staff recommends that the board support by motion the proposed DURWA O&M budget for fiscal years 26 and 27. The DURWA Board of Directors will consider the adoption of the 26 DURWA budget on April 28th of this month. Staff will incorporate DSRSD's share of the DURWA expenses in the district's operating budget, and then the DSRSD board will review and consider the district's operating budget in June.
Thank you.
Questions?
Bringing it to the board. Any questions?
So, Dan, I think I heard you say that DURWA does an annual budget and approves an annual budget. Is there a reason that you provided us with 2 years?
2-year budget is because when we budget DSRSD.
So that's for us.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
for
would
us.
that be shared with the DURWA board, the 2-year plan?
Correct.
So the follow-up question is, what did we propose? So I'm assuming this is common methodology. What's the difference between what we're proposing now and what we had budgeted based on the 2-year? I'm just curious if the number's gone up, and if so, why?
So since we're beginning a new year budget, 2-year budget cycle, so these are all new budget numbers for.
Okay, so we haven't shared
26
the
and
6.4 in any way, and it's not different than anything that's been shared.
Haven't
Okay,
shared this
That's
budget.
what I just wanted to confirm.
Yeah, we went to.
Thank you.
So for clarity, this is the first time we're seeing fiscal year
Correct.
26 and fiscal year 27. Okay, any other questions?
I just had one. So with our energy master plan that we have, do we foresee will that have any impact on some of these electricity charges, or is that something in the future that we're looking at? Because I mean,
So-
being that that's probably our highest, right? When we looked at that pie chart, or it looked like that was the I think labor was second, right, and then electricity was number 1.
Correct. Electricity is one of our top expenses for DURWA. The Energy Master Plan is a DSRSD master plan. The cost for electricity, actually, we haven't changed much. We feel that we budgeted correctly for the current fiscal year, and we're not changing it for fiscal year 26, and we're doing a modest increase for fiscal year 27. And we've been tracking those electricity costs very, very closely, and we feel very confident that we're budgeted correctly.
I guess.
And if I
oh,
could just add to that, DURWA did commission a study that DSRSD is part of sort of a separate effort, but related to the Energy Facilities Master Plan, to look at potential ways to save on electrical costs. And that study is just about complete, and those results will be shared with the DURWA board. So they are taking a more comprehensive look at if there are opportunities to further reduce electricity costs, but those are being done under DURWA.
And was solar taken into consideration under that study?
Solar was looked at. I believe there was at least one site that East Bay Mud had some property, but as we kind of talked about for DSRSD, because of the sort of the oversubscribed nature of that RESBEC program, it may not be a very feasible option.
Okay, thank you.
If no other questions, we'll move it to the public. Open up the public. Bring it back. Any other discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Okay, got a motion. We have a motion by Director Govinda Rao and a second by Director Juanita Leopold. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any noes? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimous. Moving on to item 8B, approve the nomination of Director Jogene Von Heater Leopold as the alternate special district member to the Alameda County Local Agency Formation Commission, LAFCO, and appoint of alternate voting delegate. Staff.
I'd like to introduce Vivian Chu, a management analyst out of our Executive Services Division, and she will review this item for the board.
Good evening, President Goel and members of the board. I'm Vivian Chu, Management Analyst at this district. So item number 8B is for the nomination of Director Von Hida Leopold as the alternate Special District Member of Alameda LAFCO for a 4-year term. She has served in this position since 2013. Her third term is expiring on May 5th. And she would like to run for a 4th term. Included as an exhibit to the resolution in the agenda packet is her candidate statement for your review. And the election to fill this seat will be held on Wednesday, May 14th at 10 a.m. after the regular meeting of the Alameda County Special District Association. Each independent special district in Alameda County gets a vote to be cast by the board presidents or presiding officers of these special districts. Staff recommends that the board take 2 actions this evening, either in one motion or 2 separate motions. The first is to approve the resolution for the nomination, and the second is to appoint a director to attend the May 14th election in the event that President Goel is unable to attend. If no one can attend the election, a vote can be cast by email to Alameda LAFCO. Now I welcome Director Von Hida Leopold to say a few words regarding her candidacy if she like, and I can take any questions from the board. Thank you.
All excuse me, we put my 16-year-old dog down yesterday, and I'm not really up to saying anything. But I do appreciate the nomination. I have enjoyed being part of LAFCO for all of this time, learning much more about our county and what's developable. So thank you, Vivi.
We'll move it to any questions from the board. Start on this side.
No questions. I was going to rib Georgine because it's 4-1, but after I heard about the dog, I'm not going to do that. I was going to bang and cause some trouble. That is right in the middle of Aqua Spring, so we need to coordinate to make sure. I mean, I for one can't be the alternate to help out because I'll be at the Aqua meeting, so that's the only wrinkle I can see is we got to make sure somebody who's not at Aqua can go to this meeting to cast a vote.
So,
Believe it or not,
Vote for yourself?
yes.
It's actually legal. You can do that. Yeah.
so that is the Aqua meeting, which I'll be attending as well. So I guess we'll be going to the direct notification in that approach.
Well, I mean, it'd be nice if, I mean,
It'd be nice if somebody could.
it's always better if it's somebody live can, do a little harumph and because I've done it before for other directors, but not in this context. So, are you available that day, or are you available?
I need to check.
Right.
So I need to check to get back to you on that.
Okay.
Is it in person?
Yeah, it's a day of service.
I'm not available that day.
Oh, okay. So we may have to do an email ballot.
Well, I'll check and see if I can do that.
So I guess we can substitute out based on that as an alternate. Right.
So just so I understand that, so that's only in the event that you cannot make it. Is that
I
what
cannot.
Yeah,
Oh, you cannot.
He's
Oh.
going to Aqua, so we have a.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And so am I.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would normally step in as vice president to pull it off.
Okay.
So we'll, in that scenario, would the alternate be potentially Director Govinda Rao.
Correct.
If no one's available.
So, can he attend as a proxy, or how would that work? Or do we have to make the formal motion to substitute?
I'm going to defer to either Nicole Gonzalez or our general counsel to answer this one.
I believe the intent is that if we are not able to have our presiding officer or an alternate attend in person, then someone from either role can send an email vote in to the executive director of LAFCO, and that would be acceptable. So I would suggest, unless Vivian has any other information that I'm not aware of, that perhaps we could plan, even though perhaps you're at Aqua, that you could cast a vote electronically. We could provide you that information to do so, and that would
I think
cover that.
the intent from the board sounds like we want to try to have somebody in person, and should Director Govinda Rao be present or available to attend in person, we'd like him to be the alternate, I guess.
And if you can't do it,
You could appoint him as that alternate this evening, and then pending his availability, if that doesn't work out,
Sure.
then we could go to the electronic voting method, if that sounds agreeable.
Him at that point, or would that come back to me?
That would come back to you, and if you're no longer available, you would defer that to him to take care of.
So in that option, are we doing anything different with number 2? Do we have to state anything modified in number 2 of this staff memo is the question.
No, you would not.
Right.
You would simply appoint him as the alternate
Okay.
vote.
Do we have to
Voting
state
delegate.
as such tonight?
Correct. That you're appointing him as the alternate delegate.
Okay.
I'll take a stab at this.
All right.
Before you can,
Oh.
another question, just a quick question. So just so I understand this, this is on the 14th at 10 a.m. Is that what I'm seeing here?
Yeah.
Okay. How long does this? You've been this to how
They're
long?
fast. You pop in, you hour maybe, 90
Okay.
minutes.
Okay.
Not a half day or anything. It's
Sure.
it's pretty short.
Okay.
And where
Where
is
is
the
it?
location?
It says it's in Hayward and on
Oh.
Winton Ave.
So why don't we Shanghai you tonight?
Yep.
And if you can't pull it off, then we can always revert back and cast a vote electronically from either one of you.
Sure.
Yeah, and would I also be considered an alternate though? That's automatic.
You're the primary.
You're the primary.
Okay, because this is in Hayward at 10.
Well, I don't, did you actually read the notice? I got it also today, but I didn't read the location. We normally meet, I have been meeting at Castro Valley Sam, not Alameda Labco in the planning department on West Wood. But either way, it's Castro Valley or Hayward.
Yeah. Well, that's easy. I mean,
Yeah.
we can get clarification on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that works out too, because then maybe I do that before heading down to Aqua.
Okay, so I'll take a
Sorry.
stab. So 2 motions, Doug, or 1?
Well, you have one motion doing 2 things. One is the approval of the resolution to make the nomination, and then the second I am going to leave to you to magically come up with the right language to have Director Govinda Rao as
Don't put any pressure on me.
the
right.
alternate and then the default back.
I'm going to make one motion. It's going to not be very long-winded. The first part of said motion will be supporting the nomination of Georgine von Hita-Leopold to the position per the resolution that's in the packet. And the second one will be because of the Aqua issues, nominating Director Govinda Rao to be the alternate to cast the vote. If you can do it live, great. If you can't do it live, we'll circle back and we'll figure out how to do it electronically.
I can second that.
All right. So we have a motion and a second. Bring it back, and all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any noes? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimous. We got it all correct? All right.
Correct enough.
Moving on to item 9, reports. 9A, board items. 9A1, joint power authority and committee reports. We did have one, which was the DSRSD City of Pleasanton Liaison Committee meeting of March 31st, 2025. Can I get a report?
Can we do it? Yeah. So we met yesterday, had a nice meeting. Just a couple of things that were on the discussion items were talked about Steve Delight spoke about the regional capital expansion project update, gave that to the group, and it was received very well. The next thing we then went to, and then Dan gave the nutrient watershed permit update, and then City of Pleasanton gave their sewer system activities update, and their, just so everyone knows, their CIP for 2025-2027 is about 7.13 million for the sewer system update. That's kind of just a quick summary. I don't know if Dr. Halkett has any, or
Nope.
Vice President Halkett has any more to add to that.
No, that's about it. Good meeting. Pleasanton's starting to get very serious about their utilities. They've that came through loud and clear yesterday. They've been beaten down pretty hard over the last couple of years on both the financial side and the physical side. They've had 3 water main breaks. I think they shared that in the last year, which is more than one should. So they're getting more professional. They're focused on it. Their city council, I'm not sure, is quite unified yet, but they're going to get there. They're going to figure it out because these are important things. You got to have the water come out of the tap, and you got to have your waste go away when people flush the toilets. So that was good to see. They received our CIP issues without any issues. That's not historically always happened. Sometimes they push back on projects, and this time they said, no, you guys got the system planned well. Thank you very much. It was very productive. Anything, Jan?
Nothing to add.
Well, sounds like kudos to staff. So kudos to staff. If nothing else, then we'll move on to 9A2. Submittal of written reports for days of service.
There you go.
There you go.
Sorry.
No worries.
It's funny that Mr. Halkett should mention that I attended the city lunch, and indeed that air was in the air. Jack is a much more business-oriented person, and he's dragging a lot of his council along, but it sounded extremely positive to see the change in their direction. So and the presentation was great. He did a great job. And actually the food was wonderful too. And then I also attended the PFAS ribbon cutting. I hesitate saying this, but you know me. I'm a little concerned in that this is a wonderful thing to be doing, but I really would like to make sure the public doesn't think this is the answer. The answer, as I said in the last meeting, is still with the manufacturers because it's all over the place, but it is very comforting to realize that Zone 7 has taken the bull by the horn, so to speak, and make sure that we have safe drinking water. So it was fun to be there. There was a lot of dignitaries there and our Zone 7 people, but it's such a change. I think that was Valerie that mentioned the different working atmosphere now with Zone 7. So it was very positive. A good time. And then the last one I did was kind of interesting. It was a Zoom meeting where I also have a cold, which hasn't helped any of this. Senator McNerney spoke at the Economic Development Committee meeting for the chamber. And I was kind of disappointed because I was hoping he would attack a little bit of some of the legislation that he's bringing forth. But the only thing he was focused on was he has a bill that he just introduced that is supposedly going to put some additional security around AI. So other than that, it was a very short presentation. He didn't have a presentation, so to speak, and Guy just asked everybody on the committee to just ask questions, and of course, we weren't prepared to ask questions, so it went by very quickly. But that's all I have.
Okay. I too attended the PFAS ribbon cutting, and I think the real essence was, and it was felt even through the Regional Water Quality Board, that Zone 7 and this Tri Valley are taking the necessary steps that it can. So I don't want to diminish the value of that treatment center and that treatment plant and what all the work that's going on in the Tri Valley relative to PFAS. There's obviously multiple issues tied to it, but the proactive nature of this region, stepping it up to resolve PFAS in the drinking water and taking the necessary measures is what matters.
And that comes through quite a bit. You probably see something at Aqua because I think we're one of the first areas to really deep dive into this to try and address the problem.
All right. If there's no other, okay. Moving on to 9A3, request any new items for a future board meeting or committee agenda. Seeing none. Moving on to 9B, staff reports.
A few upcoming events. We have our liaison committee meeting with Central San scheduled for April 21st. That's a Monday. It's 4 o'clock at their office. The Dublin State of the City is scheduled for April 23rd. So if you haven't already signed up, let Veronica Gonzalez know. And then the DERWA board meeting is scheduled for Monday, April 28th.
That's it. That was pretty quick. With that, we'll move on to item 10, adjournment. The meeting is adjourned at 6:27 p.m. Have a good evening.